Hi Cancer, welcome back to my channel, Karma Fox. I am doing your weekly reading for the end of March. I hope you're well. I am going to take a quick second to remind you that this is a general reading. It may not resonate with every Cancer sign, so guys, just take what resonates for you and leave the rest for someone else. Keep in mind that the energies may reverse. So if it's resonating, get in where you fit in, but as always, don't force yourself into a reading that's not for you. Spirit, can I have the energy of the sign of Cancer? Cancer. All right, Cancer, you are starting out with the Empress in the reverse. We have the Hermit reversed. And coming out together is Temperance in reverse along with Judgment. All right, so I do feel like there's a situation that's causing you to second guess yourself a little bit. This may be somebody that you haven't been giving to, you haven't been nurturing the connection. There looks like there was a gap in the communication, and then all of a sudden there was some sort of communication here. But it may be causing you to second guess yourself. It's causing your emotions to kind of be a little bit up and down, a little bit on a roller coaster. You're trying to use good judgment because I do feel like you've done a lot of soul searching about this, but it's kind of creating a little ripple in your emotions here. It could be somebody that you're hoping to reconcile with, but it's a very unbalanced situation. So let me see who's in your energy, Cancer. Show me who is in Cancer's energy. Because normally when I get the Empress for Cancer, it's normally in the upright. All right, so we have the Strength card. You could be dealing with a Leo. We have the Knight of Swords, and there they come. There's that communication. And we have the Seven of Cups, and they're creating confusion. So this is somebody that definitely has strong feelings for you. It took a lot of courage for them to actually come towards you and to approach you. And I feel like they kind of were like trying to work up that courage for quite some time. It looks like when they did come forward, it was after quite a bit of time, and it was impulsive. And they came in quick. They came in quick. They might not have been very delicate with their words, you know, and that might be part of what's causing you to second guess yourself, because there's something about creating confusion here. Seven of Cups, this is somebody who has, you know, options, but there's confusion in their energy, and they may have been creating confusion when they came in, because it does look rather impulsive. Let me see the energy between Cancer and this person. Nine of Wands reversed. Yeah, sometimes you feel a little hopeless with regard to this person. I do feel like there were a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And, you know, Nine of Wands is known as the warrior who has gone through so much, and they're wounded, they're tired, they're exhausted. And that is what leads to this sense of hopelessness as the problems just compound. I feel like there were a lot of problems here, more problems than growth. Normally, when there's problems in a relationship, you resolve those problems in order to grow and to become better. This looks like repeating problems. This looks like a lack of growth and still continuing the problems. And I do feel like there is a desire, though, however, and this is on the plus side, for you both to resolve the issues that are there. Let me see what's affecting this connection. So there could be an attempt to resolve something. Yeah, look, Five of Wands reversed. You might be dealing with somebody that's a little bit in their ego, because this is like a push-pull kind of energy. It created conflict. There was a lot of problems and not enough growth. And so what's at the center of your reading is a resolution to the problems, to the conflicts that are there. And I feel like you're both talking it out. I feel like they're the one who either has or will approach you to resolve this conflict. But it looks like it's a power struggle. Let me see, show me the outcome for Cancer. Show me the outcome for Cancer. Yeah, so if you haven't heard from this person, you will. All right, Six of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, it's still unbalanced, and you're recognizing that. Yeah, you are. It looks like it's unbalanced because this person is either confused about what they want or they have options or both. Bottom of the deck is the Justice card. Now that's positive because it is in the upright, which means that you're getting justice in this situation. It also could indicate you're dealing with a Libra, but it shows that balance is coming in, but you just can't see it yet. So let's clarify your reading, Cancer. Spirit, why is the Empress in reverse for Cancer? I feel like this person, Cancer, causes a lot of confusion in your energy and causes you to second guess yourself when they come bouncing in, you know? Yeah, all right, 6 of Wands reversed and the 9 of Swords. Yeah, this person causes anxiety for you. You feel like there's been a lack of success here because the problems mounted up and mounted up, but there was not sufficient growth behind those problems. And this person just creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of second guessing yourself. Why is the Hermit here? I feel like you've lost sleep over this situation. Like, this has not been easy. 6 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles reversed. You ended this connection because you wanted balance. I feel like this person breadcrumbs you, causes confusion, and you basically said, I need an equal balance give and take. And you weren't receiving that. So I feel like you ended this, you withdrew your energy, you stopped nurturing them and the connection. It was a deep loss for you, but you went within. You went within to try to find the answers within yourself. Now, I do feel like this person is popping back in order to balance this out. I do see you talking with this person. Let me see the bottom energy. You're hoping that there is going to be balance within the connection. And that's why you're talking to this person. So I don't feel like you're completely over them. I feel like you definitely, still want this to work out, but you're also looking at it, deeply. Yeah, justice. You want karmic justice. That's in your underlying energy. We have the Sun in reverse and the Ace of Wands. So, yeah, you're not taking any energy that's not balanced. You're definitely not. If this person tries to put you on an emotional roller coaster, you're just gonna reject them. You're gonna be like, nope, I am too short to ride on your emotional roller coaster. So you don't know if this is going to go through. You don't know if there's going to actually be a reconciliation because you're recognizing that there's still a lot of healing that needs to take place within the connection. Within yourself and also possibly for this person. There is a desire to reconcile, a desire to have a passionate new beginning, but only if it's balanced, only if it's equal. Yeah, I feel like you're really trying to do what's in your best interest here. You're protecting yourself. So I think that that's good because you're still in the process of healing. You've been very unhappy though. And I do feel like you would like to heal this, but only if this person's going to bring balance to the situation. So let me see their energy. Let's see what they're up to. I know they have strong feelings for you. Why is the Strength card here? They had to really work up their nerve to come towards you. Judgment. And the Knight of Wands reversed. This could be an off and on situation where this person is currently in a, like out of communication, and then they work up their nerve and they come back in. They want to reconcile. They definitely want to reconcile. They do want to work things out with you. I do see the gap in the communication, but they're coming in. Why is this Knight of Swords here? Why is the Knight of Swords here? This person could have been a player. Wow, look at that. The Strength card again. Very strong Leo energy here. 5 of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords reversed. So they have been sitting in their feels. They're definitely in their feelings. This person, when they're not talking to you, they feel like you're rejecting them. They feel like you've abandoned them, that you've left them out in the cold. And so I do feel like there's been quite a bit of time where there hasn't been communication. And now this person is just, it's taken them quite some time to work up the nerve to come towards you. But they are doing it. They are doing it because they want to reconcile. They want to work whatever has happened. They want to work it out. I will say it does appear that they are trying to work on their own issues as well, which is a good thing. This person definitely has issues with rejection and abandonment. They could also have issues with not speaking truthfully or being argumentative. And I definitely feel the argumentative energy is here. It's that push-pull. It's a controlling type of energy. Let me see the Seven of Cups. Show me the Seven of Cups for the person in Cancer's energy, please. Show me they know they hurt you. Yeah. Yeah, they know they hurt you. It could have been with third-party energy for some of you. Three of Swords reversed and the Queen of Swords. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy is here. This person wants to heal the damage. They know they hurt you, but I feel like they're stubborn. You're dealing with somebody who's very stubborn, who's not comfortable with their feelings and emotions. They may have had options, and they definitely tend to create confusion. It's like one day they want to talk to you, and the next day they turn their back on that. And they can be very cutting with their words too. Yeah, this person can be extremely cutting, and they create confusion, but they know they hurt you. And I do feel like this is a very stubborn person who appears that they don't want to talk. So when they do come in, it's going to be, like they're not going to come in, with an apology. They're going to come in with some kind of brash statement. Yeah, I think they need to work on their communication skills. All right, so let me see why the Nine of Wands is in reverse. Show me the energy between Cancer and this person. Show me the energy. Three of Wands, the Hermit, and the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, you pulled your energy back. You said, look, if this isn't going to work out, it's going to just be problems after problem after problem. I'm not investing in this anymore. It's failing. It's a poor investment. Why would I do that? All you're doing is causing me anxiety. And so, but at the same time, you've been waiting. This person pulled back as well. I feel like you pulled back first. They also pulled back. They're extremely aware that you've been doing soul searching. They're extremely aware of why you're not talking to them. And I feel like when you pulled back and you kind of drew those boundaries, this person also pulled back as well. The difference is you were acting out of, trying to say, okay, this isn't growing, this isn't working. This is causing a lot of self-doubt. It's causing a lot of anxiety. They pulled back because you pulled back. They would have been willing to sit in that chaos and that anxiety. Now, when you pulled back, it forced them to kind of analyze themselves. It forced them to look at themselves as well. They've been waiting for you to come towards them with communication. And I feel like you were not intending to do that whatsoever. It's that push-pull. It's a standoff that's here. And you both kind of pulled back, waiting, to see what the other person was going to do. But you had already made up your mind. You were not going to, feed into this anymore. Their pullback was because you pulled back, though. Let me see this Five of Wands in reverse. The Fool in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, they feel like if they can work up their courage to approach you, to talk to you, to tell you, some kind of truth, that it will resolve the conflict. It will start things moving in a more positive direction. they're also aware that they're receiving karma for the things that they've done here, possibly for some untruthful things or for, you know, being cold. Because like I said, they're not good with feelings and emotions, so they can come off very cold, very, like they don't like to communicate properly. A lot of aggressive type of energy here. Now, I do see that conflict ending, but I don't see you jumping back into this connection because you're afraid that if you have this new beginning, that it's just going to lead to the same issues that you had in the past. Now, are you willing to resolve the conflict? Yeah, you are. But you're not willing to jump back into something unless it's balanced, because you're realizing it ended because it wasn't stable, it wasn't balanced. This person may have breadcrumbed you, and there is some indication for some of you that they were giving to more than one, you know, party, whether it was, you know, another person or another situation. And you're afraid that none of that has changed. Just because this person, you know, tries to turn the page, you're like, no, there's some things we need to address here. Ooh, bottom of the deck is the 7 of Swords. Ouch. And it is in the reverse. So there's something here that was done that was deceitful, and you know it. You're still healing from this. So I definitely feel like you have feelings for this person. You've been unhappy. You kind of were waiting to see, would they pop back up? Would they show up? Would they communicate? There was this standoff. But at the end of the day, you've raised your standards. Let me see your outcome. And that's what's going to bring you this karmic justice. The fact that you've raised your standards. Okay, so we have the Hierophant. We have the 4 of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Wands. Ooh, now for some of you, this person could be involved with someone else. They could be married or in another commitment. And they may be trying to bring you back in as a third party. So be careful about that. You could be dealing with a Taurus here. Virgo is also here. But yeah, this person knows that they've caused confusion. They know that they've created heartbreak here. So I do feel like they are coming in towards you. I do feel like they feel you kind of moving away from them, cutting them out. They're highly attracted to you. And I do think that they're going to take action. They might be consulting somebody. This person could actually be in counseling. Or they could be somebody that has talked to another person that they highly respect, maybe even a spiritual leader. And that spiritual leader would have said, look, you know, no, you're not providing a balanced and equal connection. And that might change their perspective a little bit. So that would be positive if that's the case. Either way, I can tell you they're going to take action towards you. I think that they are going to try to balance it out. I don't see the balance coming in by the end of the week. In your energy, I do feel like you're still holding on to this person. You are wanting a new beginning. You do have passion towards this person. You're attracted to them. But at the same time, you're healing and you don't know if they're coming in the right manner. So you're trying to suss that out. And you're really only going to accept them in if they do provide, you know, that balance, if they do provide stability. So I do feel like you're pretty guarded here, but with good reason, I also feel like you are going to get the justice that you're looking for in this situation. So whatever this is still, it's still working, you know, it's like bread. It's in the oven. It's not baked yet. So you're going to have to just kind of wait and see. But remember, you have the power in this situation. You always have power over your own energy. Not over someone else's, of course, but over yours. All right. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. That's underlying energy, which tells me that you're coming into your power here. You could be dealing with another water sign. You could be dealing with another Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio. But it really tells me that you're finding balance within yourself. You're coming into your own power here. And you're also receiving karmic justice in this situation as well. So I do feel like there's love that is still in the situation on both sides. I feel like the person you're dealing with is not very comfortable with their feelings and emotions. And let's face it, they're not even very comfortable, you know, with their thoughts. This is somebody who acts rashly. So, you know, I feel like if they are in counseling, that's a good thing. But in any event, I hope that this has been helpful for you. Oh, let's pull you an oracle card, Cancer. Yeah. See if there's any advice. These oracles have actually been very spot on this week. So, all right. We have assertiveness. This situation can be healed gently and with love as you've requested, yet there's also a need for your strength and truthfulness with the other people involved. We will stand right behind you as you speak your truth, giving you strength and guiding your words. Wow. Talk about boundaries. Okay. And I do feel like you're ready for that. I feel like you are stepping into your power with that. So I think that's very good, and it's very good advice for everybody. All right, I hope this has been helpful. If you've resonated with this reading, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hype the video if you get the opportunity. And until I see you in your next reading, Cancer, know that you are loved, and namaste.